Macca's Guides.
Hey, what's up guys, Mac here playing Trials Fusion Awesome Level Max DLC. This is the Redlynx to the Sword Achievement / Trophy Guide, which is for beating all of the Redlynx times on Redlynx vs All-Stars in Trials Fusion. There's a total of 10 levels you will need to complete the track challenges for, and they are very difficult. Before we begin, feel free to check out Loot Crate, save 10% by using the link in the description. It also helps with the channel. Now before we get started, I'm going to warn you, this is a very skill-intensive achievement, and there's only so many tips I can offer you that aren't just practice makes perfect. You will need to be an expert rider in order to attain most of these. Now I'll be going through each 10 tracks in order and showing you my run. I'll be talking about what the best way to get through the track is, what kind of time savers you'll need to do in order to get the goal, and how hard that track is. The first track we're starting with here is Elysian Skies, and you're going to need to do a few of the time savers. I'm using the Pit Viper, although any bike is allowed. I don't think it's possible in the other bikes. There's not a lot of room here for mistakes. I end up beating the time by like 0.1 or 0.2 seconds. This is one of the harder ones on the list, and I highly recommend that just practice makes perfect here. Make note of the driving line and use the time savers shown in the video. The next one on the list is Fish and Ships. You'll need 34.384 seconds on the Roach, and for this one it's all about just keeping flow through the entire track, making sure you don't slow up in any one area too much, making sure you land on the proper declines to carry your speed through from ramp to ramp. And as long as you can get the right driving line, this one's really not that bad. You'll want to just kind of force that flow into your bike when you're landing when possible. Make sure you don't overshoot in areas like this, and you should be able to get it with a little bit of practice and timing. Next up, we have Bradford. You'll need 34.116 seconds on the Rabbit, which is the kind of pedal bike here. And this one's one of the easier ones in my opinion, as long as you're a decent rider. I'm able to beat this one by almost 3 seconds, and I didn't get a perfect run. So as long as you have a little bit of skill, this one's going to be definitely one of the easier ones for most people. Just make sure you get a good driving line. The biggest time saver is at the very beginning. You'll notice that I kind of skipped over and hit a container really hard, and that saved me a couple seconds. Next up, we have Seismic Activity, which in my opinion is the hardest of all the tracks to get 35.983 seconds on. I'm going to be using the Pit Viper. Carry your speed, land low on this ramp, carry your speed, land on the little ramp here, do a forced bunny hop, and then slowly go up and over. Lean forward as you come up this ramp to shoot forward, carry your speed, lean forward, carry your speed, and nice transition, carry your speed up and over. You'll want to also do a tap here to make sure you go up and over and don't lose any of your speed there. A quick hill climb, gain traction as fast as you can, and you'll barely make it. This one is very difficult, but hopefully that replay does help you out. Next is Trials of Ice and Fire. We'll need 50.483 seconds, but we'll need to use the Baggie. This is actually sounds a lot harder than it actually is. As long as you can keep decent flow, you won't have much of a problem. I was able to do this on my second or third try and get over half a second faster than what they want me to do. Now, the only tip I have here is for this little ramp, as I'm coming off, make sure you land short instead of long. I landed a little long, but if you land short, you can actually get through this section with about 1 or 2 seconds saved. And then just carry your speed through the ramps as well as you can, making sure not to get stuck for too long, and you shouldn't really have too much of an issue. Next up, we have Adelopodia 9 with a goal of 44.841 seconds on any bike. I will be using the Pit Viper. The first time saver that's very useful is at the beginning of the track, making sure you go up and over. It's not necessary, but it easily helps you get about a second off your time. Make sure you land low and carry your speed pushing forward on this ramp so that you land on the downward part here, and then go really slowly up. Make sure you do a back wheel tap and shoot forward to skip this part so you can go up and over, carry your speed through here. Now what we'll do is we'll go into this plant/animal, And don't go too hard too fast, or else you'll kind of lose some time in the air there. Push forward to go up and through here, and then our last time saver at the very end here. Make sure we don't drop down. You want to go up and over and land on top of this platform without going to the bottom part, and then go up here without hitting your head on the top of the door. Now, next we have Sleepy Creek, 44.816 seconds on any bike, and this one's the second hardest, in my opinion, to seismic activity. You'll need 3 full time savers. First one is here, through the pipe, front flip, and make sure you land right here to carry your speed up and over. That's time saver number 1. Number 2, instead of going up and through the sign, make sure you go at the very, very bottom, and you don't have to actually hit it. That's your second time saver. Carry your speed through here, push forward, and keep carrying your speed. Don't carry your speed too much here. Make sure you use this ramp and front flip forward to skip this little part. Third time saver right there. Now just continue the track. Make sure you hit this log. Use this little ramp to propel you up and forward. Make sure you get enough speed to go up and over, and then don't hit your head on one of these saws, and you should be able to get enough time if you're fast enough and skilled enough. Next up, we have Frontside Ollie, which we'll need to do in 52.733 seconds on the Roach. This one's one of the easiest, in my opinion. I'm able to get about 40 seconds. I'll show you some of my time savers, but they're not really all that necessary because, like I said, I'm an extra 12 seconds faster. So you can keep some of them in mind, but if they're too hard for you, you can skip them completely. We'll just be using the ramps and making sure we don't shoot too forward. We're actually going to want to go downhill on most of the downhill parts in order to get enough speed to continue forward. As you saw, that was a pretty good time saver there. And we'll go up and over. This one you can skip if you want to, if you're not skilled enough or you just can't get it. From the top of the ramp, we can actually skip this entire section and land on this downward part. And that should save you a good 5 seconds. But if you're not able to do it, just continue down the ramp. And you should be able to get within the 52 seconds, no problem. Next up, we have Short Circuit in 32.449 seconds. This is your typical hard track, short and sweet, but takes a lot of skill and a little bit of practice and that expert touch. So what you're going to want to do is just make sure you can get through the track very consistently and very quickly without making too many mistakes, and you should be able to get there in 32.44 seconds. It is a generous amount of time to get there as long as you have the skill to be able to get through a hard track without many faults and while doing it quite quickly. Now, the last track challenge is on Extraterrestrial. We have to get 105 or faster using the Rabbit. Now, one thing you really want to do, keep in mind, is you can fault as many times as you want, and 105 is actually a pretty generous time. As long as you're able to get through an extreme track, you should be able to get this. I did it with about 10 seconds to spare, and I didn't take a really quick run by any means. One time saver that you might have seen me do just there, I skipped a whole section by jumping on top of a dumpster and not going down. Here you can try to do a backward hop off your back wheel, but I prefer going down and then just using this ramp. I find that more consistent for me personally, even though it does take longer. And as you'll see, I do get the track challenge, even though I do have one fault. Here, make sure you jump up and over. There's also a time saver at the very end where you can jump through the electrical grate. It is a little bit harder and a little bit more skill intensive, but it will save you a couple seconds. Now for this track, all I can really say is practice, practice, practice. You will need to be good enough to speedrun an expert track, an extreme track, and that's really all I can say for that one. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully that was helpful towards your achievement or trophy, and I'll see you next time. Peace!